arms and light weapons. Now, small arms and light weapons are what you can call Africa's weapons of mass destruction. Small arms and light weapons are what you can call Africa's weapons of mass destruction. What the nuclear bomb, chemical weapon, radiological weapon, biological weapon has not done in Africa, small light and light weapons, we've been doing it. I'll repeat it again. I said, small arms and light weapons are Africa's own weapons of mass destruction. Now, when America and Russia and China and the rest of them, they are talking about the destruction of the world with the nuclear bomb and the rest of them, we have been using our own weapons of mass destruction since the 1960s to kill ourselves in Africa. Rwandan genocide then that occurred. Back then, they used weapons of mass destruction to carry out that thing. Now, they killed over 600,000 humans with their weapons of mass destruction. Remember, I said when America dropped the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, collectively, that bomb killed about maybe 288,000. But Africans used their own weapons to kill 600,000 humans in one civil war. They're already in the Nigerian Civil War too, 67 to the 70. Of course, they used the African weapons of mass destruction. Estimate varies. People are saying over 1 million people died, up to 1 million people died, and the rest of them. And of course, remember what Boko Haram and ISWAP have been doing in Nigeria too. They also have been using weapons of mass destruction as it is. Remember, I said weapons of mass destruction are global stuff. I remember my first lecture too, I said there's what we call conventional and unconventional. So technically, unconventional should have been weapons of mass destruction. But in the case of Africa, our weapons of mass destruction are small arms and light weapons. Exactly. Small arms and light weapons have killed more people than any weapons of mass destruction in Africa. In fact, Africans don't have weapons of mass destruction. Remember, why we call them weapons of mass destruction is the way they kill, they destroy, the severity, the indiscriminate use, killing of that thing. Now, I'll give you a good example. 3 weeks ago now, remember when suicide bombers attacked Goza in Borno State. Now, the woman only used explosives, just explosives, not nuclear weapon or biological weapon. The woman just strapped bomb around her body, put her child on her back. She was still pregnant. They held on to 2 children, and she detonated the bomb. That's an example of a good example of small arms and light weapons. In other words, to destroy themselves in Africa, they don't have to get all those high-tech bombs. No, all those small ones they are carrying around are basically enough. There are civil wars going on a lot in Africa. Congo, since 1960, they've been killing themselves till today. And what have they been using in that region of the Congo is what you call the African small arms and light weapon. Now, in the context of Africa, weapons of mass destruction are conventional weapons. In the context of Africa, weapons of mass destruction are conventional weapons. And what are these conventional weapons? When I say conventional weapon, pistol, rifle, grenades, rocket, normal thing. Say pistol, rifle, grenade, submachine gun, AK-47, artillery gun. Those are normal. That's why I said normal. Missiles, bombs, drones, yes. Small arms and light weapons. In the case of Africa, they are what you can call our own weapons of mass destruction. I don't know. Last estimate, they said about 1 billion. There are 1 billion small arms and light weapons in the world. About 100 million of them are floating around in Africa. So there are close to 1 billion small arms and light weapons in Africa. But about 100 million of them are floating around in Africa. I don't know how true that stuff is, but I say about 20 million of that stuff is within Nigeria. Yes, it's a serious issue. So about 20 million of that stuff is within Nigeria. Now, before you open your eyes in amazement, just think. Now, say Nigeria is poor. Most African states are underdeveloped. They are wallowing in poverty. Yet they all have the most sophisticated weapons. Where are they getting them from? Bandits now ravaging Zamfara, and there's the northwest of Zamfara, Sokoto, the Katsina, and the rest of them. These guys are using sophisticated weapons. In fact, I was shocked when they used the rocket-propelled grenade to bring down an aircraft. Where are they getting all these stuffs from? So when I say 20 million, yes, I know what I was actually talking about. That is why they say, well, if care is not taken, Africa will self-immolate. Or rather, a better English word is Africa will implode, will destroy itself from within. With all those things we call small arms and light weapons. Most African states, they have stringent rules and regulations to bar people from having weapons. But unbelievably, that thing is still basically available. I was still trying to explain that why we said that thing is Africa's weapons of mass destruction. Don't worry, I'll get to 3 characteristics why that thing is actually easily that available and is a weapon of choice. Now, I said that since 1960, Congo has involved itself in a civil war. About some 7 countries are in the Congo fighting till present. Now, my point is, Congo is dirt poor, extremely poor. Yet, all those people killing themselves in the Congo, they all have sophisticated weapons. Uganda has been battling what they call the Lord Resistance Army, one terrorist insurgency group. Uganda has been battling what they call the Lord's Resistance Army. Now, a 12-year-old boy is already a confirmed captain in that resistance army. Even in fact, by the time you are 10, you are already a confirmed killer. Now, these are boys. When I say boys, not men, these are boys that goes around with AK-47 rifle. By 13, you are the owner of a checkpoint. The checkpoints in Uganda, you stop cars, you talk to adults, and if you don't like whatever they are saying, you shoot them dead. That's why they said the small arms and light weapons, it's Africa's weapons of mass destruction. Now, they are of two types, so let's quickly just run around there. You have the small arms on the one hand, then you have the light weapons. Then you have the small arms at the one extreme. Then the second, you have the light weapon. Small arms are weapons designed to be used by a single individual. They are weapons designed to be used by a single individual. Small arms are weapons designed to be used by single individuals. And I've given you an example. So I said you have guns, you have rifles, you have revolvers, submachine guns. Yeah, stuff that you can actually carry around. In fact, I think I even put your bows and arrow and your machete, because that was what they used in committing the Rwandan genocide. So the weapons designed basically to be used by a single individual. You can conceal. I mean, in Nigeria, they put such weapon like AK-47, the pieces them and put them in gari and bag of beans, then in the tank of Okada and everything to smuggle them from one area to the other. Like I said, they are weapons designed to be. They are designed to be carried by a single individual. So I'm sure you have the general idea when I say revolvers, submachine gun, and the rest of them. Now, light weapons are those ones designed to be used by 2 or 3 or more individuals, or to be carried by trucks or pack animals. So, light weapons are those designed to be used by 2 or 3 or 4 individuals or more, and are usually carried by trucks, one or another person, or by pack animals, because they are heavy. A good example are artillery pieces. Another good example is that thing you call rocket-propelled grenade. Yes. Then you also have mounted submachine gun. Mounted submachine guns. Yeah, those are the two. Anyone you can carry alone as an individual is what you call small arms that you can conceal. It's very portable. But then the one that requires for you to carry the gun, another person, to carry the gun itself, another person to carry the bullet, then they are light weapon. Now, apart from those, now you also have the explosives. Explosives. Yes. Explosive. TNT and the rest of them. Those are still part of light weapon. One person will put it in, another will set the charges, then you run somewhere, then you press the button and the rest of them. Now, please listen. The reason why they call them the weapons of mass destruction in Africa is because they've killed more than any nuclear weapon in Africa. There's been no nuclear explosion in Africa. But till this minute, they are still using small arms and light weapons. US is being the greatest killer in Africa, the most indiscriminate killer in Africa. It has killed more than any weapons of mass destruction. Weapons of mass destruction, the normal one could kill in Africa. And it is still killing till now. And unbelievably, please listen. Africa, specifically West Africa, specifically ECOWAS, was the first country in the region in the world, organization in the world, to realize the danger of weapons of mass destruction. Not America. There is no arms control against them. Not Europe. At all. It was Africa. It's somebody that carry over like 10 times that I understand the meaning of failure. If you've never had carryover, you will really understand. And because of what that thing has wrecked in West Africa, Sierra Leone, Liberia, even Nigeria, then Mali, Chad, they came up for the first time with an arms control measure designed for small arms and light weapons in 2006. All of them ratified it. That was the first moratorium. Enough. This thing is a silent killer. It's enough. Africans are not using missiles and drones to kill themselves. No, they're using pistols. Sometimes you call it den gun in history. And think small arms and light weapons also transform security landscape within Africa. That illiterate boy, I don't know if you watched the video then, when terrorists attacked that military camp in Borno State now, Baga. I don't know if that thing is still online. Also, if you see all these 15, 16-year-old boys wearing slippers, and that's why we said small arms and light, it's Africa's own weapons of mass destruction. How can I tell you and you are not shocked that a 12-year-old boy is manning checkpoint in Uganda? Is the one collecting going, coming. I mean, 10-year-old boy smoking the bow. Then that thing, the gun is even taller than he is. It's the thing he will wear this lecture. Just know, small arms carried by one. Important difference, one individual. And I gave you examples of them. Yeah, rifles, gun, pistol, AK-47. As long as they are carried by one individual. Light weapons requires 2 people or trucks or animal. And like I said, a good example is anti-tank weapon. You know, somebody will carry it on the shoulder, another person will be at the back to put the thing into fire. Or the rocket-propelled grenade. Now, they use the stop talking. They use a rocket-propelled grenade to bring down a military aircraft in Zamfara. That was when I knew that they were ready to finish this country. When bandits, it's not something you see at Yanoba market now. For them to get something that can target airplane, then you knew that your country is in serious trouble. So they use that thing. At a point, that was why they said that region is no-fly zone, because they are not sure if they can turn that in on civilian aircraft. As it is, I remember, it's not a weapon of mass destruction, but in our own context, it is a weapon of mass destruction because it will kill indiscriminately. It will target both the culprit and the non-culprit. It will target both combatant and non-combatant in Africa. As you have it in Africa again, in Nigeria again, you have it almost in every part of Africa, where you have what you call ungoverned spaces. Now, the question you ask is, why are Africans interested in using SALW? Why are Africans interested in using SALWs? One, portability, major factor. Portability, easy to carry around. Portability, easy to carry around. Then two, still part of to carry around. It's easily concealable. You can conceal it easily. It does not need anything sophisticated to hide such. Portability, it's easily concealable. I said it now. They put them in bags of beans, bags of rice. That Okada seat you sit on, they put it under. They just strap that thing under that thing. Can put it inside your bag. In fact, they even hide it in car engines. So it explains why people prefer that thing. Because it's easy to carry from one region. It's portable. American films, now they just put it at the back of their jeans, close the thing, and they start trekking. Compared to a nuclear weapon. Your wardrobe cannot even contain a nuclear weapon. So that one is not easily concealable. And of course now, guns are not radioactive. Not that it will damage your skin or anything. Portability. So it explains why it's everybody's favorite weapon in Africa. Two, very easy to maintain. You don't have to go to school to know how to shoot a gun. So very easy to maintain. Extremely easy to maintain. It does not usually have all these sophisticated moving parts. Important thing is, even you see it in American film, you jump into water, make sure the gun is not wet. And when it's wet, blow, make sure it is dry. Then continue its business. It does not require electricity. Exactly. It does not require you building one big silo to hide the thing at all. All you have to make sure that you do to the thing is make sure it's dry. Keep it clean. Then your gun oiled. Can use groundnut oil. Can use palm oil. Just make sure that thing is well oiled to carry out its business. 3, it does not require any technical skill. That was why I said 10-year-old, 11-year-old boys are now killers in Uganda. So it requires no technical skill at all. All you need from that thing is just the basic. They tell you how to remove the bullet, then how to put the bullet back. Then they'll show you how to press the trigger. Shikena, case closed. And like I said, it explains why that thing is prevalent, extremely prevalent in Africa. Therefore, I wanted to say this, but then I remember the AK-47 is not expensive, but then they're extremely cheap compared to weapons of mass destruction. When you're talking about weapons of mass destruction, you're talking of billions now. With a couple of $1,000, you can actually get guns. Exactly, extreme. And if you can't buy, say, your local blacksmith, give the person enough incentive, they will build one for you. Weapons of mass destruction is not something that comes cheap. Years of investment, heavy money. Then, of course, now, importantly, knowledge, technical know-how that you have to pay for. But these guys, the other one we are talking, no, at all. No high-end technical anything. It's just the basic, concealable, availability, no technical knowledge, easy to use, dead cheap, extremely cheap to come by. That is why they can put them in Gari and beans and the rest of them. Do you know how many of them they've intercepted in Nigeria recently? And they said for every one that they caught, about 50 must have escaped. No, they've been intercepting guns coming into Nigeria now from both the border and Tinkan Island. And I'm not talking about Dane guns, sophisticated pump-action rifle, cargoes of them. That is what they're trying to import into the country. So you don't ask yourself that question. Whom do they want to kill? Is it bushmeat? No, the kind of things they said they are importing into the country. And they will hide, the consignment. They put different names. Skin relaxer, human hair. That is what they write on that. Or shoes, or bags. But when you open the container, you see the guns neatly packed. Some from Turkey, some from Brazil, not even from US that you are thinking. Even some from Russia. You just wake up and say you want to go and buy debt for your country.